Hi, I'm Bernhard, an Agronomy Research Scientist. Today, I'm at our Geneseo, Illinois Agronomy Research location. I'm standing in our sulfur on soybean study. It's a very simple design. We have 4 varieties in this study, and each variety either received sulfur or didn't. So there was a check that didn't have any sulfur applied to it, and then the plots that did have sulfur applied to it, they received 20 pounds of sulfur as ammonium thiosulfate applied with the planter in a 2x2x2. And there's striking sulfur responses going on here. So I'm standing right between the dividing line. These plots on this side are the check, did not receive any sulfur. These plots on this side receive that 20 pounds of sulfur as ATS applied at planting. And you can see that these plots not only have more biomass, but they're also greener than the plots that did not receive sulfur. Now, one of the reasons why there's such a striking difference going on in this field is we're on a lighter soil and it's a little bit sandier. It's also pretty low in organic matter, only about 1.5% organic matter. So there's not very much sulfur being supplied from the soil through mineralization. So here's what the soil looks like at this location. Again, it's pretty light, a little bit of sand in there, low organic matter. Again, probably not mineralizing much sulfur in this field. And that is why you can see the striking difference in the plots that receive sulfur and the plots that did not receive sulfur. Another reason why we're likely seeing this extreme response to sulfur at this point in the growing season is these plants are roughly at the R2 growth stage, so they're about full flowered, and the demand for sulfur peaks once the soybean plants hit the reproductive stages. So they're at peak sulfur uptake right now, where they need a lot of sulfur to start putting on pods and filling the seed. Sulfur deficiency symptoms are yellowing of the newest growth on the soybean plant, so the last trifoliate. And because sulfur is immobile, that is why it shows up in the new growth. So you can see here that this is the latest trifoliate, and it is a little more yellow compared to the other leaves. Also, if you look at the plots that did receive sulfur, you can see that they are much darker green. Even the newest growth is also green compared to what did not receive sulfur. If you're wondering whether or not you should be applying sulfur to your soybeans, right now is a great time to get out in the field and take soil samples to see what kind of sulfur is available to your soybean crop at this particular point in time, and also pull tissue samples to see if the sulfur level in those tissue samples are sufficient for your crop. If your soil samples are low in sulfur or your tissue samples are low, you should be thinking about applying sulfur to your soybeans in the spring. Tune back in at the end of the growing season to see what kind of yield difference are we going to get from the plots that received 20 pounds of sulfur compared to the plots that did not in this research trial.